Right, hello and welcome to the first of Jane Ward online watercolour tuition. Not sure how this is going to go, but I think I'm just going to go with it. Ready? Hope you're all alright anyway. So what we've got some watercolour paper down, and it's a knot watercolour paper. It's taped with masking tape, and then I've just very lightly pencil marked in a little mountain. This is Barrow, and then you've got a few other mountains, Cider Cat Bells possibly, and then you've got the trees, and then the foreshore as well with these trees on. I might just put some posts in here, and we're going to do some nice distant hills, bit of mist, and then some nice autumn trees and some trees here and reflections into the lake. Okay, sounds quite easy. Let's see how it rolls. So I've got some paints as well. I'm going to use just 4 shades, or is there 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. We've got 2 blues. We've got cobalt blue, which is your cooler blue, and we've got ultramarine blue, which is a slightly warmer, richer blue. So this one's your cobalt and that one's your ultramarine. So your ultramarine is just slightly darker. And then we've got permanent rose, which is this one, which is looking, I think I need to put a little bit more in, but I think it'll be okay for today. And Windsor yellow, which is this one, which if you want you can use gambage, cadmium yellow. You can use any yellow as long as it's a nice primary colour. So you can see that we've got 3 primaries. We've got blue, the red and the yellow, which are primaries. And then I'm going to use a little bit of burnt sienna, which is this one over here. So first of all I'm going to paint the mountains. I'm not going to paint the sky as yet. I'm going to see how we go, because we might come back and do a little bit more tomorrow. So to start with, what I'm going to do is paint the mountains and a little bit of these trees to start with. Are you ready? So we've got some clean water, and you've got to keep getting lots of clean water. Clean water gives nice clean watercolours. So I'm just going to put some water into the palette and a little bit of the blue, the cobalt blue, which is your cooler blue. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to paint in the distant mountain, which is this one here. So you can just see I've got a little bit of a line. So I'll load the brush up with lots of paint and just paint away. So just over the outline, load the brush up again, and then just bringing it down. And if you can see, I've got a little rubber there, and it just keeps my board just slightly angled so that the paint will just slightly run down. Give my brush a wash, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to soften these little edges. Okay. And I'm going to work a little bit faster than what I normally do. And I'm not at the moment going to use a hairdryer. Just really, I don't want to for the noise. Okay, so what I could do now, I could let this dry, or I could give it a little dry with the hairdryer. But I'm actually just gonna dry that a little bit just with a tissue, just softly. And then swap over brushes. So I've just got a little bit bigger brush and a bit more colour, which is more tone. There you go. And I might just pop just a little bit of the permanent rose in. Don't need much, just a little bit. Load the brush up again. So I've got loads of paint on my brush. And then I'm just going to paint the other mountain in. But I'm not going to go into the wet paint that I've just put on, because I want to keep a bit more of an edge to it. So, and what you can do, you can try out your colours. to see if you want to use this colour. I'm actually just doing it pretty fast today. Okay, so off we go again. And we're just painting this down. And I'm doing it more as a demo. You're probably going to take a little bit more time to do it. And can you see how that bit there, that is actually lifting into the wet paint? I don't really want that to happen, but I don't mind. What it's called, it might be a little happy accident. So just bring this down in the shape of the fell. And then with the other brush, I'm going to give it a wash. And I'm just going to soften this little area, like I did before. And what it does, or what I think it does, it creates a bit of atmosphere and it gives it distance. And I hope nobody is taking the mickey out of my Yorkshire accent. This is in difficult times. So, but I think being creative is a good thing to be. So I'm just going to just shape that up a little bit more. And it's just softly painting it down. Again, just softening these little bits, and I'm just going to dry it with the tissue. So if you wanted to, if you'd painted this and then you dried it, this little bit of running wouldn't happen, but I'm not too bothered because it's a little demonstration just to show you how you can start with your watercolours. So just giving this a very, very slight dry. I do want to touch into there, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to hold on and just go with it. So, touch more blue. So that's the cobalt blue, not your ultramarine. I haven't used that as much, or as yet. I might start to, but see how we go. Again, a little bit of the permanent rose. A little bit more of the blue. Can you see how much richer that colour is compared to this? And it'll hopefully pull the picture forward. And I know you might think, well, mountains aren't blue, but sometimes they are. And this is a painting. It's not a photograph, and it's nice and loose. It's to just relax and have some fun. So again, load the brush up. And if I just slightly tip this up just a little bit more. Oops, it's going to fall over. Oops, a daisy, sorry about that. I'll tell you what, we'll stick with this. It's okay. So just painting these down again. And then I'm going to soften underneath yet again. So give it a little. So you can see I'm just softening into the very edge, and then I'm going to soften again into this edge. And you can see where I've had a little droplet of water. Oops, and now a fingerprint. Just pop a little bit of colour on there. And if it's still wet, I can do that. But as soon as it starts to dry, then I don't want to do that, because what I'll get is something called a cauliflower. This is nearly a cauliflower. I'm going to try and rectify it with a little bit of stronger paint. So stronger paint, less water. Might have rectified it, we'll see. There you go. See what happens. The joy sometimes of watercolour painting is let these happy accidents happen. Don't worry too much. Right, so we've got 3 mountains very loosely painted in. And again, I'm just going to take off that little bit of water. Just so, what I'm doing this for is so I've got drier paper so I can put another wash on, and I want to do this fairly speedily for you. Okay, so we might be getting a little bit of mist in this, and then I'm going to put a bit of masking tape on here, and this is one of my tricks. Just take off a little bit of the stickiness and very lightly just put this little edge down. I haven't stuck that bit, I've just stuck this bit. And why I've done that is because I want to have a nice line for my water's edge. Right, so into this colour, I'm going to put a little bit of the ultramarine and a little bit of the yellow, just a little bit. So just a touch. And then if I go too much with the yellow and it's too green, I'm just going to mix up a little bit more blue. So blue and yellow make green. So you don't need to buy any green. And then we're just going to pop a little bit of this in. And it's hopefully going to give a tree line. So just using the brush, and then I'm going to just soften this with some water. And if you get that you've put too strong colour on, well, you can just soften with your water into your colour. Watercolour is a lovely plain medium and you're never quite in control. So I'm just bringing that just down to that little line. Give it another wash. And I'm not worried about these little marks. I maybe should be, because I'm showing you what to do. Can you see how this is drier? So this isn't spreading like that did. This section of the paper is dried, and you're getting some nice hard lines in here. Whereas this is soft and it's just blending up slightly. But we can go over that later if we want to. So washing the brush. And you might think, why haven't I put any sky in? Which I haven't done as yet. Well, when I come back tomorrow, I'm going to put some sky in. And then I'm just going to go just a touch stronger. So stronger in tone, which means less water, more colour, more paint. So just the blue, and that's the ultramarine blue, and the Windsor yellow. And it's an up and down, just dropping it into the water as though it's a nice little tree line going along here. And can you see how that hopefully is giving it the illusion that this is a little bit more in front of the back trees. I might just start and just pop a little bit of yellow. Just in a few little places. Just along this front. And maybe a touch of the permanent rose as well. It's just touches sometimes. You don't go in with your brush really heavy-handedly. So it's just changed the colour slightly. And I'm going to put some trees in here which are more forward. But again, they're going to go in tomorrow. So I want a little bit more colour in here. A bit more of the permanent rose maybe. So it's just yellow and the permanent rose. So you don't need many colours to mix lots of different shades with watercolours. Maybe we'll have a little bit of the blue and the yellow. Touch more yellow. And when I take the tape off, it'll hopefully make a little bit more sense of what I'm doing. So a little bit more of the yellow, a bit more blue, and a bit of like a conifer sort of tree coming along there. And at times, let your painting dictate to you. Don't think, well, I want to paint this and this has got to go in. If it says, well, that looks like it might be a bit of a tree, we'll paint it into a tree. A little bit brighter colour as well in there. I think give it a little zap. So a touch of yellow, a bit more of the... See, that's nice how that little bit of yellow's come through there, so it's shining behind. Let's pop a little bit of these in. Touch of the permanent rose. So this is starting to come together. Put them down. I've only used 2 brushes. Take this tape off and then you can see that we've got a lovely edge, and then I'm just going to bring a little bit of the colour of the mountains into the water, and also a little bit of these trees. But first of all, I'm just going to slightly dampen this section first, just with water. So I've got this is called a hake, which is it's goat hair. I don't think any goats are harmed. They're fine. So just bringing this down, downward movements. And this is all. This is the clean water. Not too bothered about here because I'm not actually going to paint this section. That's going to be tomorrow. So just bring into that. So you saw where I went from. It was from there and it was down. It wasn't into here. And then just with this brush, I'll just clear a little bit of this one here. I want a touch of cobalt blue. I hope this isn't putting anybody off. I hope this is inspiring you. So, a touch of blue. And then just thinking that there's some little bit of the mountains maybe in there. A little bit stronger colour maybe for this side. Thinking of the reflection a little bit. But again, I might put a little bit more colour into this tomorrow. So just bringing that down. Give my brush a little wash. Just bring that over just to soften it. Wash the brush again. So the water's just diluting the colour. And then I want to, with the other brush that's still got some of those colours on that are mixed, I'm just going to paint some of these down, thinking that there's got a little bit of reflection. And maybe with the other brush as well, pick up some of the nice, the yellow and the permanent rose. So, a bit maybe there. So just reflecting what is there. Touch more permanent rose maybe. And there's a nice little bit of yellow in there, just pure yellow, just in that little bit, can you see? Back to the greens with the other brush. A little bit more yellow. Give that brush a wash. I just want to soften this little area because this is where I'm going to have this little island which we're going to paint tomorrow. Just bring my brush across. There's all these are nice little reflections coming down. And then I've got a synthetic brush, nice flat brush. I think it's about a 2-inch. Just take the water out, and then all I'm going to do is just take a nice little line across here, right the way across. And then we'll pop another one as well. So, stage 1 of a landscape in the Lake District. Okay, right, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.